the non-negotiables now? They're not real, are they? Because you're in and out with it. It's not important to you, so it's gone. How many times when you play sport, or if you still play sport, when you have coach meetings at the beginning of the season, and you have these chats where you go, okay, what's our values, and you come up with all these great words. Commonly, they last 2-3 weeks and then revert back to what we did before. Because we don't keep it alive, we don't live by it, because we don't prioritise it in real life, in coaching sessions. We cannot just talk about them in meetings, we have to bring them alive in the session, because that's where it counts. So these are the tools we need to ask ourselves, are we doing this every single day? Every single training session, are we doing it? Because if we're not, it won't happen, it won't change. So under pressure, they'll revert back. So if we want to change, we have to be consistent, drive the pressure, be consistent every time. Then under pressure, that eventually becomes their natural way. And even if it drops a bit, players will recognise athletes and they'll step in and they'll set it back up again. But we have to make sure they understand this is priority, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to be relentless with this, we're going to be patient, which is another one I put on there. But it will happen. So the next one is, these are just, I'm going to send this to you, these are just key words. The other one is we need to make sure they understand what that is. So for me, this is fundamental to understanding, to take the pressure away any single athlete. You just say, I'm just going to ask you to do that, nothing else. So it's not about comparing yourself with someone around you. You're not saying, well, I'm not as fast as them, we're not as strong as them right now, they've got better skills than me right now, doesn't matter. I'm asking you now just to do this in every single moment. That's all I'm asking you to do. Whether you're in the gym training, whether you're going out for a run, whether you get up in the morning and making choices, I'm asking you to be the best you can. On the court, that's all I'm asking you to do. So an athlete's now going, so all you want me to do is, with what I know, what I got, make a decision, commit to it 100%, and then you want me to just work out, do I need to change a thing to nail it, I'll just keep going in the present moment. So you're asking, coach? Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Fantastic. I can do that. Because everyone can do that. Whether you're a beginner at 4 years old, or you're Kevin Durant in the NBA, you can do this. And it takes the pressure off. Now, who else needs to do this?
Coach.
Coaches need to do it, clearly. The team manager needs to do this. The assistant coach needs to do this. The performance analysis needs to do this. Everyone needs to do this. And it's easy to live by so long as you're conscious of it. And now when you make choices, it's a conscious choice to be unacceptable right now. Because this is in your head. So you're choosing now to be unacceptable. At least now you're making a conscious decision. Now you can challenge, how committed are you to your goal? Because that's the only reason you're not. You're choosing now, I'm not as committed as I said I was, so how much does it mean to me? Then you can start having that discussion with yourself or with athletes. But at least you know. Now the no compromise elements is, we're driving this first. Now I'll put drive the positive behaviour changes is because it may not be awesome straight away, but what we're looking for is this better than it's been? Yeah, so is it dipping less than it's ever? Yes, it is. The other thing this clicks into is when they start doing things with the questioning, ask yourselves now, and don't have to answer, when you question athletes, what percentage of your questioning is based on things they haven't done that well or they can improve on? Compared with, I'm going to question you now because you did something exceptionally well. I want you to understand why you did that differently and why you did it better than before. So here's the challenge. Commonly, coaches question more about when somebody's done something wrong. So if that's what athletes are used to, when I now ask an athlete a question, what do you think they think straight away?
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, what did I do wrong? So straight away now we've filtered half the answers, and then they go, okay, now what are they going to do is go, well, what could it be? What are we working on? Defence. Oh, it can only be one or two things. Oh, it's this, coach. Because they've learned answers. So that's so false for us, it's unbelievable. Because what we want, when we ask an athlete a question or we ask them to review anything, we want their opinion on what they think's happened. So it's vital for us to give balance with them when we start questioning and challenging. Jimmy, what just happened over there? Because he did something awesome. Now straight away he'll start going, I must have done something wrong. Like, oh, I didn't think I did. And they'll search for something as opposed to go, nailed it, coach. And you go, brilliant, thumbs up. Because that's what I'm after. I'm after people recognition. Because when we talk about something, we're reflecting about it, right? We're thinking about it, agree? When someone starts asking us a question. So what the hell are we doing asking them to only reflect on the things they've done wrong? And we're not asking them to reflect and absorb the things they've done right and what they did differently that time that made it so successful. I mean, how critical is that in our success growth to do? It's huge, it's critical. So we need to get balance in there. We need to get balance. So when we ask a question, athletes are thinking, oh, he just wants my opinion. It's not that I've done something wrong. He wants to see and recognise my awareness of what's going on. It was this. And we don't want to develop a culture where we have athletes of any age never saying it was 10 out of 10. Never saying I nailed it. That's a crazy place to be. We're asking excellence is to do the best you can with what you got. So if you nail that, that is excellent. That's a 10 out of 10 right now. Not to say in a year's time, in 6 months' time, that might become an unacceptable. But right now, that is a 10 out of 10. That is nailed it. And we want that recognition. We want to build that confidence in our athletes of recognition and when things are happening great. So this is going back to looking for the positive behaviour changes before the performance outcomes, but also recognising the balance. Do you see where we're going with this? Would you say that's a fair... Sorry, was that hand up?
I'm just going to say,
oh.
just after Slim would be a good thing to just stick to.
Okay, so would you say that in balance you're probably higher percentage of asking questions when they've done something wrong than in balance when they've done something right, and ask for the detail of why?
For the moment, something wrong, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a common way to go because our coaching course is generally about sort of looking to how to improve things. Well, the best way to improve things is recognition when you're doing when your work is now giving you a great output return. So we need to recognise and reflect on those in equal measure. And we'll find when we start doing this, it might take a couple of weeks, but then you'll find the athletes will start changing because they'll start thinking, okay, I'm now recognising when I do great things. Now, who before coach shouts and asks someone for recognition, who should be doing that?
Well,
yeah, the player themselves and the players around them, those athletes that are working with them. So when a coach says, well, Mark, if I'm not shouting, the session's silent, I'm saying, well, something's wrong with your session. Because what we should be hearing is, yeah, awesome, yeah, love that, and then someone shouting at someone else, yeah, brilliant there, good run up, brilliant hand touch, off we go. Because that's where the noise should be coming from, and then we can sit back and go, agree, love that, oh, I disagree with that. Okay, that's worth discussing when I pull them in, because what they've just said was great isn't. So I need to understand why. So you're hearing a lot more than you actually trying to drive that noise and atmosphere. It shouldn't be coming from you. And if you're doing that, your eyes and your ears are not as effective. And this is what we should be using. We should be scanning. Scanning, I mean, up and down, checking, behaviours, the non-negotiables, then the performance. All the time scanning. And if I'm busy talking and shouting, I'm not spending my energy doing that part, stepping back. And that's a critical part of the coaching. Are we happy where we're going with this? Are the brain cells firing up here now? So 5-minute break.
Good luck.
5-minute break for press-ups, walking lunges.